we've been telling our viewers that late tonight another fast-moving fire exploded. This time it was in Altadena's Eaton Canyon.
Evacuations are underway and people in Pasadena have been warned they may need to evacuate as well. Our Nicole Comstock live now for us with the very latest. Nicole?
Yeah, you know, the city of Pasadena is doing everything they can to help all of these people who've had to evacuate these senior centers in Altadena. Right now, they're actually loading people up in a Pasadena SWAT vehicle. I've heard them saying they're taking some of them to the Pasadena Convention Center, so it sounds like that's probably one of these mass evacuation shelters they're looking at setting up tonight to get all of these evacuees who've had to flee this fire. And you can see all of the smoke and embers flying down the street in these crazy winds. It is really intensified out here in just probably the past 20 or 30 minutes. And we're about a little bit more than half a mile. Actually, look, there's flames in front of this apartment building across the street here. It looks like an apartment building to me on Altadena Drive and Washington Boulevard. We're about half a mile or a little bit more away from Eaton Canyon, just south of that area on Altadena Drive. And you can see that it's spotting half a mile, 3/4 of a mile away, and you know, catching areas. This is residential over here. I think this is technically Pasadena, but we're on Altadena Drive in an area where there's like a McDonald's across the street, this 7-Eleven parking lot where at least 95 people from just one of 2 senior centers that needed to be evacuated tonight were just kind of sitting around waiting for an hour with lots of employees around them, helping them, trying to keep them covered with blankets as best as they could until they could get them to a safer location. I believe those 2 centers were the Terraces at Park Marino, and then Pasadena Village Senior Center. We're also hearing that maybe some of these people are being taken to some location in Highland Park, but I'm not sure where. We spoke with one woman a short time ago who was out here looking. Sorry, I don't know if you guys can hear me because it is so windy out here. I'm going to try to move away to a little more, an area with a little more cover around me so you can hear. But we heard from a woman a short time ago who was out here looking for her sister in this parking lot. She was still being wheeled across the street as we came up here. I spoke with another man who said he saw the fire on TV and knew that he had a friend who lived nearby in an apartment. He said he took a crowbar and bashed out her window to get her out because she didn't know at the time that there was a fire so close to her. So those are the kinds of things that people are experiencing tonight, just trying to get their loved ones to safety. We spoke with another woman who said she saw these poor people, these seniors in the parking lot out here, and she brought a whole bunch of blankets so she could help cover them up and make this a little less terrible for them tonight. But the Eaton Canyon area is like a 190-acre nature preserve right at the base of the San Gabriel Mountains. So there's lots of hiking trails up here, lots and lots of homes too nestled in the hillsides that have had to be evacuated tonight. It's unclear at this point because I haven't actually gone out there in the areas with homes if we have lost any of them or if there is fire damage, but we know that the fire is burning very close to some of them up farther north on Altadena Drive. Also lots of wild animals in the area, so I'm sure they're trying to figure out where to go in the hills tonight. And we also saw a lot of people who were evacuating up on New York Drive in a mandatory evacuation area with horses, trying to get them into trailers, running down the street with them. So this is just a crazy fire spread with these winds out here tonight. The fire started at about 6:15 with 10 acres, but this wind is like a blowtorch out here, and the fire has exploded in size in the past couple of hours to, they're saying 400 acres in size, but I'm sure it's larger than that at this point. The Pasadena Police Department has been helping out Altadena residents doing evacuations themselves. And we know that, you know, Pasadena is working on setting up that mass evacuation shelter for people. But even earlier in the day, I think it was Trinity Lutheran Church on Walnut that opened their doors just to let people in because just in case they were worried about the wind. So what we have seen out here tonight in the middle of this chaos for all the poor people who had to be evacuated is so many people from Pasadena and Altadena working together to get everyone to safety, come up with a plan at the last minute and do what they can to help people in their community here. So it's a huge effort in a natural disaster like this. And you can see how many people are working together out here tonight. They have clipboards, they're writing down plans as we speak, and family members coming out here trying to locate their loved ones. So it's been very chaotic out here, and we're hearing as these people continue to be loaded up and taken to shelter tonight that these winds are only going to intensify as we get into the 10 o'clock hour and then overnight. So it's unclear how much of Eaton Canyon has burned at this point, but there is a lot of dry vegetation up there, very steep hillside, so it's kind of set up for a worst case scenario up here. But we know we have a lot of firefighters working on the ground to do whatever they can, and just a lot of people in this community who came out to help these people tonight.
You know what, in spite of everything, that's one thing that Southern California is noted for, the triumph of the human spirit, to see people coming to help their neighbors, people who may not even personally know someone, but just knowing that they may be able to assist someone in need, like bring a blanket, something to keep them warm, food to eat. And something, I want to ask you a couple things, Nicole. Do we know where people are going that have been evacuated? And I haven't heard about the Red Cross yet. And this is, it's surprising to me in a way, but we're glad that people are helping one another. And of course, we have enough of our, or many of our firefighting efforts are continuing, and of course, corresponding with law enforcement. Do we know if Red Cross is assisting in any way right now, or where those people are being moved to?
I'm sure the Red Cross is en route if they're not already somewhere in Pasadena or Altadena, but I'm sure they're also stretched thin with the other fire we have burning in the Los Angeles area at this time. But we did hear when they were loading up some of these seniors into that SWAT vehicle just a couple of minutes ago, I heard someone with the fire department saying we're taking them to the convention center, which I'm assuming is the Pasadena Convention Center, which would be down on Green Street, not too far away from here in Pasadena, maybe a mile or so down the road. That's, a huge space. So they would have a lot of room there to, if they did work with the Red Cross, to establish, cots and blankets and all the supplies that they need to take care of people. But I also heard another firefighter saying they were moving other people to Highland Park. And I don't know where that location would be, but I'm sure city officials are all trying to come up with these plans at the last minute and doing the best they can to find the best spaces with the most room to be able to shelter them, because you can't really plan for something like this. You got 95 people in one of these two senior centers. I don't know how many in the other. That's a lot of people when you're having to come out here at the last minute and literally wheel them across the street in their beds. They're in like their pajamas and have blankets on, trying to get them away from the flames that are burning maybe a half a mile away from their homes. And it seems like we're a distance away, but we could see flames moving just behind us here in the hillside. And then, like I mentioned, there was a spot fire right across the street by some apartments. So this fire's just spotting a lot pretty far away. So it's unpredictable what kind of structures could eventually have some damage as these winds intensify overnight.
I can imagine too, public transit. They are trying to coordinate efforts probably to move people, if need be. Of course, that's another opportunity to get people together and get people away. Just wondering, and maybe we can get some more information. Well, we will get more information on this. Like if you're watching us, you might want to know, well, how do I get in touch with my loved one if they're not answering their phone, especially in this kind of situation? Who do I call? Are city services set up? Is there a line at City Hall? If you call right now, they have a recording telling you where to go to find people, or a number for assistance. And
people are being moved around too, Pat, so you don't know if your loved one is being put at this evacuation center or at this church or at this community center. So a lot to ask and a lot to worry about over the next few hours.
So there's a lot of coordination that is going to go into effect. It has to. And in fact, we're seeing it happen really on the fly. As you mentioned, Nicole, this is not necessarily a super coordinated effort because it happens so quickly. So you do the best that you can.
Yeah.
And right now, the main imperative is to get those people to safety, get them away.
And the great thing is we saw this unfold.
It's really incredible, though, to see.
Go ahead, Nicole.
Sorry about that. Didn't mean to cut you off. It's really incredible to see how everybody can work together, the firefighters, the police, getting the SWAT vehicle out here. They used a Pasadena transit bus to load people up. Sorry, I'm just noticing right now there's some more brush on fire over here, right at the 7-Eleven where they were loading these seniors up just a couple of minutes ago, so the fire's spotting again. But it's incredible how many people, I'm not sure if that is a car. I think it's just brush, but there are cars parked over there. Sorry, someone was asking me a question out here. But there were people from the community coming to help out here, and people trying to find their family members. And, you know, I don't really know where to tell them to go because it sounds like people are going to different locations. I did see the Angeles National Forest said they are working with the city of Pasadena to establish a mass evacuation shelter. And as soon as they have the official details on that, they said, the Angeles National Forest said that the city of Pasadena should be posting that information online. So I guess, you know, look for Pasadena city updates on that. But I did hear, again, the Pasadena Convention Center might be one of those locations.
You know, and we should remind people as well to call your school district, or I'm sure they probably have a recording about what schools are open, which schools are closed. I believe I saw something come across the wire that the Pasadena School District will not be having classes tomorrow. So if you're unsure, if we don't tell you before the night's over, make sure you call your school district or go online if you can and look on their webpage to find out specific information.
I think it's going to be at least a couple of days or so before we get the word whether or not school is back in session. Definitely not tomorrow, at least for Pasadena. And as Pat was saying, check with perhaps LAUSD or Malibu Unified School District if the schools in that area are going to be in session. Tomorrow, my guess is that they won't be.
And you know something, now that we're talking about this, guys, you may want to call no matter where you live, because not only if you're not in the direct line of fire and you've been evacuated, that smoke that we're going to wake up to tomorrow is just, I'm sure, going to be incredible. As the winds blow, it moves that the toxic smoke around. So you could be impacted even if you're not in the direct line of where these fires are burning.
Smoke and allergies, all sorts of things, right, Pat?
Yeah, if you've got allergies, asthma, that's not good. And certainly no outside activities, right? If you've got lung disease, any kind of problem like that, that's not a good idea. And it won't be probably for a little bit. Takes a minute.
Fire up here now, too.
Okay, looks like Nicole is talking about...
more fire.
Yeah, is this the new fire, Nicole, that you're pointing?
Yeah, this is another spot fire here south of Eaton Canyon, where this is probably almost about a mile away from Eaton Canyon now. And I don't know if this is right near a home. There are homes back here in this area, I believe. This would be like to the west of Altadena Drive and south of Washington. But firefighters just ran down there saying there's another structure. So I don't know if that means there's a structure on fire or just fire burning right by that structure. But we're basically seeing these spot fires pop up all over the place. And this is a residential area. So these could be homes, they could be structures, it could be businesses. It's just kind of crazy to see a wildfire burn out of the canyon and come right down into the city of Pasadena like this. But as you can see, fire crews are trying to catch up with all these spot fires, and they're racing down there right now to see what they can do.
It's interesting when we talk about fighting these fires and this being such a historic and unusual event. You know, I noticed, thank goodness, we do see firefighters showing up and doing what they can, even though earlier we heard them actually reaching out and doing a call to have more firefighters show up, no matter where you're from. If you're listening, you know, if you're listening to this, then they want you to get on board and help them, a recall operation, if you will. So, Nicole, looks like most of these firefighters, and I'm not asking you to just break and look and see where they came from, like if there's a different company, but they seem to be local right now, which is good.
I think what I've seen so far are, local guys from Pasadena. I haven't seen anybody really out of the area yet. I'm assuming all of the out of area people that came in from across the state are probably at the other fire that we have burning that started earlier today. So I don't know if we only have local people out here right now. I'm sure they're starting to usher people in from other fire departments as they have people available. But we're kind of just watching. I don't know how well you can see this. We're kind of watching these flames come up from what I think is a residential area down here, which is, we're looking more toward like the 210 freeway now, looking south from Altadena Drive. So there's just a lot going on out here right now. And, you know, the city of Pasadena, we're talking about this fire starting to burn in Eaton Canyon and Altadena, but the city of Pasadena knew that this was going to be a catastrophic wind event. And they said earlier today that they might have to turn off power through the Pasadena Water and Power Department because they were, you know, concerned about these winds and power lines and what have you. They also, you know, there was a church that set up an evacuation shelter for people earlier. So, you know, I think also not too far from here, Pasadena had a big tree come down onto an apartment complex earlier today. And, you know, I think it was maybe 14, 15 years ago, they had another massive wind event like this blow through town and do millions and millions of dollars in damage. And, you know, when you're talking about this area, Pasadena and Altadena, there's just so many like big historic trees here, lots of vegetation. So, and, you know, there's a lot of people who live in here too. It's kind of like densely packed in a lot of these areas, particularly in the hillside. So it's kind of a recipe for disaster when you have a wind event like this.
It sure is. All right, Nicole, thank you very much. Now on KCAL News at 9:30, we have new information. Here's the very latest. Dozens of seniors who were evacuated from the senior living home in Altadena have now been rescued. They had to sit in their wheelchairs and beds outside in a parking lot for a very long time, but a convoy of ambulances and city buses moved in and took them to safety just within the last 30 minutes.
And we were glad